I'm Kim, and today I'm going to show you how to create a beautifully curated Instagram feed. So everybody knows how having a beautifully curated Instagram is really important for your business. I'm going to go over a few tips for shooting with your iPhone and how to get better images so you have a beautiful looking feed. So you're going to your Instagram and you want to create a beautifully curated feed. So you totally jump on Pinterest and find a bunch of images on there, but they're not going to reflect your exact brand, and that's actually a copyright infringement, and everyone else is using those same photos, so how are you going to stand out? It's really important to know how to make your images stand out, and I'm going to tell you how to do that with a few easy steps with just shooting with your iPhone, because I'm assuming that's what a lot of us are using or what's available to us. So here we go. Tip number 1, find good light. You don't have to invest in a super fancy lighting kit or anything, like just window light is totally fine. You could also choose to shoot outdoors, but then you're at a little bit more the mercy of the elements, and if it's in bright sun, you're going to have quite a contrasty look in your photos. If that's something you're looking for, awesome, just be aware of that while you're shooting. I would also recommend not shooting in the middle of the day and trying to aim for either earlier in the morning and later in the afternoon, because that's when the light looks best. Number 2, filter with caution. So everyone has seen Instagram's built-in filters used over and over and over again, and it's getting a little bit tired. I would actually recommend using a third-party app to edit, such as Visco or a Color Story. Have beautiful presets that look really good, and I would recommend just choosing one preset and using that to edit your whole feed, as that will kind of help create a cohesive feed. I would also recommend not using your filters at full strength. Most color editing apps have the option to turn the filters down, so I would absolutely use that and not use your filters at full strength, as it can be a bit much. Also, if you are editing in Lightroom, you can use your Lightroom presets on your mobile phone, which I can show you how to do in another video actually, and this is really awesome because then if you do get a more expensive camera and you are editing in Lightroom, you can still use photos that you've taken on your iPhone and edit them with the exact same presets on your phone to keep everything looking really cohesive and beautiful and with the same tone. Another tip is filters are going to help enhance your photo, but nothing is going to make up for good exposure and good composition. If the lighting is terrible and the photo just doesn't look good, a filter is not going to save it. Tip number 3, do not zoom on your iPhone. Unless you've got the newest iPhone, I would not recommend zooming, as it just kind of is cropping in on the image that you've already taken, which creates a really grainy image that doesn't have good quality, and it's really obvious to other people looking at your photos. If it's possible, get closer to your item or get farther away, or crop after the fact, after you've taken the photo, but I would not recommend zooming on your iPhone. Tip number 4, do not use the on-camera flash. Don't use it for selfies, don't use it for anything else. It generally just looks bad. It's not a flattering way for the light to come from, and it's not a great quality of light to use either for your products. Wait until you have good natural light and just don't do it. It just looks terrible. Tip number 5, work in batches. So you're probably already juggling a lot on your plate without having to try and create an image every single day that looks amazing. So I would recommend working in batches. If you're shooting something, maybe try and shoot a couple different variations on it. Or if you're just out and about, try and shoot like a couple images a couple different ways that you could use for your Instagram, and this way you'll have a cache of images to always kind of post when you need to. When it comes to your Instagram content, I would also recommend scheduling out your posts one day of the week so you're not posting on the fly. This will kind of help you create more of a cohesive feed overall, and it'll look more well planned out instead of you just picking and choosing images on the fly, and it'll also save you time in the long. Tip number 6, learn about the basics of composition. There's a couple rules that are just going to help you strengthen your images. First one is the rule of thirds. If you turn on the grid on your phone, this will actually really help you build stronger composition, as the 3 lines, where those points intersect is where you want to place your object of interest. Placing things dead center sometimes doesn't make for that interesting of an image. So if you turn on that grid and you sort of try and follow the rule of thirds by putting the most interesting objects along those lines, it'll create for stronger images. So, briefly, just to go over everything again. Tip number 1, find good light. Tip number 2, don't use filters sparingly. Tip number 3, do not zoom. Tip number 4, don't use on-camera flash. Tip number 5, batch your photo sessions. And tip number 6 is learn the basics of composition. Hopefully these tips helped you out. Let me know how you go and what was the most useful for you. Check in the comments below. Bye for now!